Okay, so first off, we have Tura the Striker. Tura the Striker is kind of like the first person to ever use a tennis racket. Yeah, and what I mean by that is like basically imagine a blade that comes around and ends like at a point with like spider webs in the middle. So it's like kind of like a net, but like very basic and stuff. Like first time ever being used. Yeah. Anyways, she also carries around a bag of spherical orbs, is what we're gonna call them, because that gets a little weird. Anyways, those spherical orbs are spiky and deadly. Yes, that was very nerdy. Wow. Anyways, Tura the Striker has abilities that enhance both the use and without use of using her spherical orbs. So first off, we'll go into her passive, and then we'll go into the without her spherical orbs, and then the with. Anyways, her passive is that after every third attack, she gains another spherical orbs in which she places in her bag. And the first 5 will gain 5%, not 5%, sorry, just 5 attack damage. And then after that, each one just gives 1. And she can gather as many of these as she wants, and they'll be used after she activates her E. And you'll see why. Q without is a hard strike that deals basically double the damage of a normal basic attack. And it also can count for 2 basic attacks. So I keep touching the bridge of my nose to push it up, but it's already pushed up. Wow. Anyways, so that she can get closer to getting another ball. Her W is the same thing, except it only counts as 1, but it's a basically, I'm going to say 270-degree spin, because not every human can go completely around themselves in a circle, but that's really nerdy. Anyways, a almost full circle spin of a blade that goes around. Yes. So she goes whoosh, and then that also counts as 1. Actually, depending on how many targets she hits, it can count as multiple. But yeah, cool. Anyways, then we'll get into her ultimate. I know we're skipping E for a second. Ultimate without her spherical orbs, I almost said it, is that basically you will do a small dash and you will stab your opponent and pull them towards you, gaining 50% attack speed after that duration. And now let's just say they kind of flash away. Don't worry, you have 2 casts, bro. You can just go back again and pull them right in and get another 15% attack speed, which lasts for 2 seconds. So you can get like 30% probably if you do it really fast. Anyways, now let's go back to the E. The E is basically she unravels her bag of spherical orbs and she uses them. Now, this is the only time that she will be able to basic attack ranged. So if you really need to get an opponent that's kind of running away, but you've run out of space to like get close to them, and they're kind of running away, you would use your E to use your auto to be ranged. And this is, yeah, and so that's why it matters how many spherical orbs you have, is because you can use them in your abilities. And as well with E, by the way, E's passive is 10% attack speed. Once he activates it, 10% attack speed still there, but now he can do ranged attacks with his spherical orbs that do damage as well. The same amount of damage as a basic attack would be. But they also can be used in abilities, and now we'll see why. So Q with is basically a ranged strike, kind of like a spike or serve or something, in which will stun an opponent if they're hit. Now, of course, it's a skill shot, not a target. And then W is basically a bounce off target. Now this one, a target will be selected, but it will be after the first target's hit, it'll be a random bounce from target to target. And depending on level, it can get more bounces, and depending on how close the targets are to each other, they'll get more bounces. But around, basically just think about 5, but they don't do a lot of damage. Only the first target gets a lot of damage. Okay, so the cool thing about W is that with each bounce, it gains another 25% crit chance. So after like, it can do crit damage basically. And so that'll be epic. I keep touching the bridge of my nose. Anyways, so that's kind of cool. Especially if you know that the target you're going to bounce on is not the target you want to take the most damage. It's just the target you can't get to the target you want to because, you know, they're far away. So you can like hit it off the first one, and then hopefully it'll get a crit damage and kill them on the one that they get, if they even get it, because it's kind of random. Anyways, it's a risk, it's a gamble, but it's worth it. Anyways, ultimate with your spherical orbs out of your bag. Anyways, I say that a lot. furthermore, what'll happen is, okay, there's a passive to the ultimate overall. It is whenever you hit someone with a spherical orb during your E or with abilities, they will be marked with a basically one of her spherical orbs kind of thing over their head for 5 seconds. Basically, all this means is that you can activate her ultimate and it will affect that champion. Her ultimate is that she attaches the thread of her net to all. So yeah, she attaches the thread of her net to all those spherical orbs. So when they hit a champion, they can be pulled back. So yeah, she activates that. She kind of like just, I don't know, does something, and then all of the threads tighten, and then she's able to pull them in, snap, and then get the balls back and deal some more damage. So basically, wherever they are, the threads tighten, and then 2 seconds, 2 pulls, they're small pulls, small amounts of damage. But she'll stop them, she'll pull them in a little bit, she'll pull them in a little bit again, and then snap the thread, deal a initial 2 times the damage of each pull, basically just adding them together and dealing the same amount again, and then that's her ultimate. Yes, doing some damage. So this is kind of cool. It's kind of like a root that pulls in twice of an ultimate, kind of cool thing, and then does some damage. And also, like, so if she did hit a spherical orb on Shen or Rise right before they teleported, wherever they teleported to, she could pull them in and stop them. Now they're rooted, they're not, they can do any ability that doesn't require moving, so it's still kind of, anyways, that is Tura the Striker. The next one we have is Amuko the double flinger. And you'll see why he's a double flinger, is because he has 2 boomerangs in which he uses in his basic attacks and his abilities. Now, his passive is kind of cool. So his basic attack is completely off the charts bonkers. Basically, he throws it around and it goes into an X. So the target is in the middle of the X, but he can go out and hit other people and then come back. So he can hit them twice. Now, the boomerangs are not super fast, so it'll take about a second to 1.5, 2 seconds to get them back. But that's where W will come into play, but we'll go Q first. Q is basically, he does another throw. It's a figure 8 though. He starts here, so not really a figure 8, like more like 3/4 of 8, because the bottom half circle of the 8. Anyways, it just goes from here, back up around, and then, yeah. Anyways, basically a figure 8. Oh wow, that was difficult. Anyone hit either way is slowed by 30%. Now, the only thing that, it is a 20% slow. My bad, 20% slow. The 20% slow can be regained, not stacked upon, but regained if they're hit again. So if they have a 20% 20% slow for 2 seconds and then they're hit again, the 20% slow just adds 2 seconds to it. So if it like went down to 1 second, they can get 3 seconds of it. So yeah, but it does damage them again. Anyways, his W is retrieval. Now, in retrieval, basically he can do a basic attack and he can press W anytime he wants during this basic attack, and he'll basically pull him back in super fast. The boomerangs follow his command. They're special. So he just pulls them back really fast. And this means that they also do 2 times the damage of just a normal coming back from like his passive or his basic attack. So they do 2 times the damage, and this will also help him so he can do abilities, because he can't really do abilities while his boomerangs are out and about. So if he really wants to do a Q to get a slow, or we'll get into his E later, but yes, it kind of helps him just retrieve it, and also you'll see it happening in his ultimate later. His E is he does 2 basic attacks because he has 2 boomerangs. The first basic attack is just a 30% slow on the target for 2 seconds, and then the second one is a plus 50% crit chance and crit damage attack. And these attacks are also 50% faster, and they don't come back. They just kind of hit the target, and then he kind of pulls out 2 new boomerangs or something. Or they do come back, and they're just really fast at it. And again, you know what? No, they go out normal, but they can't hit him on the way back. They just kind of stop at him, and then he can pull him back in really fast with his W if he wants. Anyways, that's that. His ultimate is that he throws his boomerangs, and they go into a fast circle around him. Yeah, super fast. Like if someone walks in, it's not like an Aurelion Soul like. It's more like a constant damage over and over again. And another thing about that is he has 2 boomerangs around, so his W becomes active during this time. His Q and his E are not able to be used, but this is why you use his W, because he needs something to do. He's bored. His things are just doing the boomerangs are just doing all the stuff for him. He's not doing anything. So that's where his W comes into play. He can retrieve one of his boomerangs, and then his ultimate will become a skill shot, in which he'll do a super fast, powerful hit, and on the way back, it'll just go back into the circle. And then once it comes back into the circle, he can do another retrieval and do it again as many times as you want for 5 seconds. Now, the cooldown for W is only 1 second, not for retrieving it on a normal basis. During the ultimate it is, but it's 1 second and until the boomerang becomes back into the circle, which will be about the same time. But he can do this as many times as you want for 5 seconds, as long as his things are orbiting him around, and then boom, that's it. Okumo, the double flinger, and Tura the striker.